Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently headed off to Eve. I think we are finally ready to go on this thing. We graduated this up to an actual flight from a simulated flight last episode, and we are ready to go. So let's go ahead and burn. It probably doesn't matter too much where we do this burning at. All we're going to do is we're going to attempt to escape the Eve system, or the Kerbin system, I should say. And I don't know why I said attempt. We're going to succeed, guaranteed. So this burn is a 5-minute burn. Interesting. So we're going to have to do this much later. I just wanted to check if we were thrust limited. We were not. So we're going to have to do this burn a little later than this for sure. Come here, where are you? There we go. So we can do this burn sometime around here, and that's just going to escape the Kerbin system, and as you can see, that's going to be pushing us kind of the opposite direction we want to go. So we don't want to burn too hard for this. We just want to just barely escape the system. We could do a gravitational assist. So we could do a gravity assist around the moon. That timing might actually kind of work out. So if we were to do that, that would be around here or so. And we would slingshot like so. And you can see that saves us a little bit of DV here. So a slingshot like this would put us into a resulting orbit that is not predicted by our patch conics here, because this only does one encounter prediction. We exit here and we have no idea where we're at that point. So that's why I usually don't really do a gravity assist, because the patch conics just don't go that far. Maybe there's a mod or a setting to make that actually happen. That would be convenient. But for now, we're just going to go to about here. We've got plenty of DV. I'm not concerned about it. So let's lock to this node. It's going to be a very, very slow turn process, which is unsurprising. We have this reaction wheel currently turned off because of joint strength concerns over here. So for now, this is fine. We're just going to be very slow turning. It will change later on, but for now, this is the way it's going to have to be. But as we burn off a bunch of this fuel, that will help matters tremendously. So as you can see, we are currently missing the node. I'm just going to freeze physics here. There we go. That'll get us heading in at least a closer direction. There we go. So that looks much better. We're not perfectly aligned, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and warp forward about 2 minutes. And we're going to be remaining imperfectly aligned. I think we should probably physics warp this last little bit here instead of my normal standard warp, just so that we can get a little bit more aligned here. Yeah, that's much, much better. We've got about 30 seconds until this burn time. 15, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Now our thrust to weight here is very low. There's no doubt about that. I want to see how this is going to look if we physics warp. We know we have some joint weakness, so let's see what that looks like. That's not too bad. Okay, so we'll physics warp this burn, but this is still going to be a 5-minute burn in, in-game time. So it's going to be what, 1 minute and 15 seconds in real time on physics warp? So that's a pretty lengthy burn. No doubt about that. Our thrust to weight is going to be increasing because we're burning a lot of fuel here. No doubt about that. We're going to be burning roughly 1/3 of the fuel that we had in these tanks. So that's absolutely wonderful. We've got a lot of fuel in these tanks. Too much fuel. We knew that from the get-go, but we managed to make it work. And this thing could theoretically be reused if we wanted to, although I don't know where else we would take it. Lathe, maybe? I don't know why we'd do that. Maybe we'd have a contract for it. It'd be kind of weird. But yeah, we could do something like that on lathe, probably. I wouldn't want to try to fly this thing on Duna, that's for sure. So we're going to be done with this burn here in just a few seconds. We've got 30 seconds left on the burn at this point. That's looking good. Let's go ahead and exit the physics warp for burn accuracy. And we'll see where this put us. We don't have to be hugely accurate with it right now, but something like this is probably good enough. How are we doing? Yeah, that looks fine for now. So we'll set Eve as our target. Our ascending node is awkwardly right back here. So we're going to be up here in the orbit, I think, by the time we get up here. That is accurate. So the question then is, if we burn late like this, we can burn part of our inclination change up here and then part up here. But the question then is, does it even matter, right? Because if we were to burn like this, yeah, so this timing is not the absolute worst, but we've definitely seen better. So if we were to burn up at the descending node, up over here, you can see we're still off by quite a lot. I'd like to get our inclination changed for sure. That would be a very useful thing to do. So I think we're just going to end up having to warp up to the descending node up over here and do our inclination change here. I would prefer to do it at the ascending node, but we're just a little off on our timing for that. But we don't need to worry about life support, so it's all good. We're in a weird sort of tumble right now. Let's freeze physics and start turning towards our node here. And we know that this is going to be in a while, so let's just go ahead and get into position for this burn, but we're going to have to do a fairly lengthy time warp to get there. That's absolutely okay. No life support here. It's absolutely fine. Okay, let's just warp here for now. And we're out of here. So we're now in space over the sun. We are out of the Kerbin system. And this is going to bring us to 0.0. Yeah, that seems absolutely fine. So we'll see what our encounter looks like here. It's going to be far easier to hit the encounter, or even to just see the encounter when we are in the correct plane. When we're in the incorrect plane like we are right now, it's very hit or miss whether we can actually see where the encounter is going to be. So we'll get there. This is 323.5 meters per second, so that's another decent chunk out of these fuel tanks. And remember, this doesn't have to come back either. We have so much fuel in this. It's absurd. Okay, let's get aligned a little bit better here. We've got a few seconds before this inclination change. There we go. 30 seconds. 20, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. So this is going to be about a minute and a half of burn time. We'll just physics warp that. Our thrust to weight remains low, but it's absolutely fine. There's no problem there. We do have way too much fuel, though. This thing can go literally anywhere in the solar system at this point. So, I mean, if we want to go flying on lathe, we can do that. It's absolutely fine. So we've got about 5 seconds left here. Okay. 0.3 meters per second. This is probably good enough. Yes. We'll put this on kill rot for now, and now let's go shopping for an encounter. Okay, so that timing is pretty off. As we bring it around up over here, though, it starts to get increasingly better on the timing. Yeah, this is looking very good up here. So, with that in mind, the question now becomes, what is this periapsis? That is a collision course. Okay, we don't really want to hit a collision course. Where is our maneuver node? There it is. Okay, so with that in mind, we can back off a little bit on this. We do want to be in a low orbit. We have already determined this. So this is going to be... That's a little too low there. We want this to be at about... 95 is fine, actually. Yeah, that'll be okay. We don't care about the inclination. Inclination is whatever. So we'll just lock to that node. We'll slowly turn our way over there. Our turning is getting faster because we're burning out this fuel. This thing is so overbuilt. This stage in particular is very, very overbuilt. I just wanted to make absolutely sure that we were going to have enough DV to get this done, because I didn't want to get there and discover we needed 50 more DV to make it actually happen. That would have been problematic. Okay, we've overshot this. Let's go ahead and bring it back. And this is going to be a 258-day warp. Okay. Well, I'm not going to make you sit through that one. I will be right back. Okay, so here we are just about through this warp. Are we in the Eve system right now? No, this is not going to be over the Eve system. This is just going to be setting up our transfer orbit. That's right. I don't know why I thought we were going to Eve in this particular one. I was ahead of myself, clearly. Okay, so this is going to be in 30 seconds. Now 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Now this is going to be almost a 4-minute burn, so we'll physics warp that. Luckily our joint weakness up here isn't causing us problems with physics warp, otherwise this would be very tedious indeed. But let's get this mission concluded, and once that's done, we will at that point be able to hopefully work on our actual main quest. That would be nice. We'll see what contracts we get, but we have enough money at this point that we can definitely continue to work on our main quest even without contracts. But I would prefer to have some Duna contracts. That would be nice. So we're about 350 meters per second here. Now 300, and everything is looking great on this burn. You can see we've nearly burned out these tanks at this point, and that's looking phenomenal. We'll have enough Delta V. Hang on, let's go ahead and come out of physics warp here. Need to be fairly accurate with this burn, because we know that we want to have this be... Oh, we're overshooting this now? Okay. We know that we want this to be quite accurate because of the resulting position, right? You can see here, we're currently on an impact trajectory. Can we go to the node, please? We're just sitting here. Any moment you want to go to the node, that would be great. Let's just physics warp for now. There we go. Now we're moving up towards the node. Okay, so we're just very cautiously burning right now, and we're just targeting a very, very similar periapsis to what we have here. That should be good. 91. Magnificent. So, now we have an option that we are faced with. Wait a second. Are we coming in retrograde here? We might be retrograde. We should figure that out. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a maneuver here. And this is going to be to just capture us. If we're retrograde, then I want to flip this around. So I just want to capture like this. We'll release our satellite up at the top here. Yeah, that looks good as far as distance goes. So we'll release our satellite up at the top in this plane, and then that will just push itself out. That should be fine. That'll actually save it quite a lot of fuel because, you know, it needs that. It doesn't have too much fuel or anything. Everything has too much fuel right now. It's absolutely okay. So 77.5 meters per second is all we're going to need to capture. That is really low, but we're going to need to lower that down. But I want to be in a different orbit because we need to determine if we're going to go retrograde or not. I'm not actually sure if we're retrograde here. If we are retrograde, problems could theoretically ensue. But let's go ahead and warp on in and see if we can determine it. Let's see. We'll be coming this way. I'm fairly sure that that's retrograde. It's really hard to tell on Eve. It's definitely going this way. So we're coming in retrograde here, and we're going to want to flip our orbit around. So that's absolutely fine. That's not a major concern. That won't take all that much DV, and we've got plenty to do it anyway. So releasing our satellite at the... I had planned the satellite to be released at low orbit, and this is going to be released at a high elliptical orbit, so that's like half of its fuel gone. Or rather, half of its fuel that we don't actually need. So that's magnificent. So here we are at Eve, and we've got about 40 seconds to go here. Just getting ourselves aligned with the node a little bit. 30 seconds. 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. So we just want to dip into orbit here. We don't We don't want to put any extra DV into this because we're going backwards, and it would have been more efficient to fix it from the initial burn point, but I'm not concerned about efficiency. And this gives us some decent opportunities to work. Oh, we're input locked. Okay. There we go. We can't delete this maneuver node right now because we're control locked. This is going to be because of the position of Kerbin right now. You can see Kerbin is here and we are here, which means that Kerbin is currently occluded by Eve. So we can't communicate with Kerbin right now. We'll have to wait until we come out from behind the... I guess we could call it the signal shadow of Eve. So that's fine for now. We'll put this in kill rot, and we can't remove this until we're no longer control locked. We're not going to be clearing this input blocker. The input blocker is completely valid. So we're just going to warp on through, and there we go. You can see we now have a signal. So that's perfect, and at this point, we want to warp up to here. Now it's going to be about 14 days, so we're going to head up towards the apoapsis. And I'm going to jettison the satellite here shortly. So let's let this warp conclude, and then we're going to activate this. We're definitely a little bit off book at this point, but it's fine. So we're going to bring this up 2 more days on this warp, and we could go a little closer to the apoapsis, but I don't see a reason to right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decouple this radial decoupler right here. Okay, so this craft is now drifting apart. Not very much, but there you can see it's making some awkward angles. Very awkward angles. Let's hop over here and get this thing turned to, let's go to normal plus. It's going to be a very slow turn, but we just need to get clear here. This is why we did this significantly before the actual apoapsis, by the way. And yeah, we can see we're definitely starting to make some clearance now. We're not there yet, though. It's going to take a moment. I can't tell if we're actually turning. At this point, oh, wait, we wouldn't be, because we need to turn this reaction wheel back on. There we go. So I just wanted to shove these apart. But yeah, our reaction wheel was on this. We needed to turn this reaction wheel back on. We just didn't want to have both of them active at the same time. So now we're clear over here. And what that means is that we want to jettison this. That was a little more energetic than I'd hoped, but it didn't cause any damage. So that's good. That is clear now. And at the apoapsis up over here, we're going to want to add a maneuver here, and this is going to be to burn like so. So this is going to be about circularizing this orbit here and just sneaking in to a minimal orbit like that. That'll be fine. So with that in mind, that burn is going to be in about 2 days. We'll align this to the node, and that'll be absolutely fine. So this satellite is going to be our communications satellite, but we've also got this guy over here. And what we need to do here is we need to flip our orbit. So our orbit needs to flip, and I'm going to do this slightly earlier than the apoapsis, about here, so that we can do these at different times. So we're going to just do a retrograde burn, flip our orbit like that, and push it right back out. Now this is a little more out than I want this to be pushed, so we're going to have this be somewhere around that same 95 kilometers. Yeah, somewhere around here. That looks good. As you can see, only 87.4 meters per second to make that happen. Not too bad. So let's get this thing flipped, and then we're going to have this guy start dropping down, and this guy stay in this high orbit. So that looks great. We've got way too much fuel to make this happen, but it's fine. I'm sure we'll burn the fuel on the way in. Or not. It'll be interesting. We're not really designed to have any sort of a re-entry burn, so I don't know. That'll be interesting for sure. These also don't furl, so there's that. I should note that we are going to have some debris from the gantry that was holding this satellite, so that's absolutely noted. Let's go ahead and warp, and we can see we're getting a decent amount of distance here, and we're just going to get this burn done very shortly. This is not the most efficient place to do this, but we're doing it for timing purposes. So we've got about 50 seconds on this burn. 40, 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Control point. Control point is a problem. So we need to set our control point to be forward. Hang on. Control point is going to absolutely be a problem here, but it shouldn't be. We already dealt with this. Can we control from here? I don't think so. So control point is currently set to forward and reversed are all the same. Where were we controlling from? Hang on. Where were we controlling from? We weren't controlling from this Probodobodyne Octo 2. Do we have another control point on here? Not that I know of. I have no idea what we were controlling from there. But this should be a much more appropriate location, and with this being such a long orbit, this is very awkward here, but with this being such a long orbit, it doesn't really matter if we burn this a little bit differently. And you can see we're definitely picking up some wiggle up here. That's fine for now. Let's go ahead and light our engine. Yeah, this is doing what we expected it to do now. I have no idea what control point we were coming from there, but sure, whatever. As far as I know, there's only the one control point. I don't think engines have a control point, do they? Okay, let's just be cautious here. Okay, this is good enough, I think. Yeah, 93,911. I like it. So that looks fine, and at this juncture, let's put this in kill rot, and this reaction wheel up here is probably a little bit overpowered. But it'll be fine. We've tested it previously. So that looks okay for now, and where were we controlling from? I have no idea what we were controlling from there, but okay. So there's no nearby object, so we're going to have to use the map view to select the other object here, the satellite here. And we're just going to let this fall in. It's going to be falling in the opposite direction, which means that our probe is now going to be retrograde to our craft, which is fine. I don't actually mind. I'm not able to click on the probe here. Okay, we'll go back to the tracking station then, and we'll go in that way. It's not a problem. Okay, so this debris here is currently on a suborbital trajectory, and we want to get rid of that. Is that actually suborbital? It is, surprisingly. But we're just going to terminate the debris here. That does not need to be a thing. And then the probe itself is going to be up over here. Wait, no, this is the probe, isn't it? Which one is the probe? Okay, yeah, this is the one with without the maneuver node. So we want to go back to the tracking station. This is the wrong vehicle, obviously. Are they both named Probe? Eve Boat and Eve Boat Probe. Okay. So this is actually the Eve Boat here. This is considered the continuation of the original part by the game. That's kind of funny. This is definitely not the primary part, but sure. So let's just align to this node. And this is going to be in about 2 hours that we'll start up this burn. 267 meters per second. This thing has so much fuel. It's so overbuilt. It's fine, though. We're still going to be very profitable on this. Okay, so this burn will be momentarily. What is this? Suborbital spaceflight above Eve. Technically, that's true. Okay, we'll take it. We're also going to do it again here in a little bit, but this is fine. So about 20 seconds. 10, and 3, 2, 1. I don't know if this engine is active. It is not. Problem solved. So this has a lot of Delta V in it. This thing alone can get to a lot of places. getting our orbit nice and high here. We just don't want to overshoot this because that's going to get us significantly out of position here. We're very, very close to escape velocity here. Okay, last little bit here. Gonna call that good. So here we are in orbit, and we're in a retrograde orbit from the probe at this point. We can now switch back to the Eve boat probe, which we're going to do, and we can now enter a low orbit of Eve with this. So that is going to be the plan here. We're going to hop on over to focus on Eve if we can. There we go. And at the periapsis here, we're going to just bring this right on down, and we're going to look to have this be... Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And then we're going to have to choose our timing relatively carefully on when we want to actually run this, when we want to actually go down. We want to go down on the day side, but we want to go down on the day side where our comsat is going to be over us for a good long time. You can see here, it's basically on the horizon right here. So we'd want to wait for it to go around, and that might be a little while. We'll see. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to do our burn to bring us into position here, and then we're going to do our burn to bring us down to the surface of Eve. And we can burn off quite a lot of our horizontal speed for that, too. We've got a lot of DV left. We've got almost 5,000 in this thing, so that's a lot. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Aurelio, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time. I was just kind of distracted because I was messing with the reaction wheel authority on our plane, trying to figure out what position would get rid of that shake, but there is a position for it, for sure.